remember when I was about 4, my mom, we'd get the Sunday paper, and my mom or Bob, I couldn't remember which one, would cut out every Sunday paper. And there's a section where it had a fish, the fish picture, and the fish name, and Bob would, my mom cut that out, and Bob would put that information on an index card. And then a couple of years later, we were moving to Japan, and I remember Bob had those long index card boxes. There was 4 of them that we sent, that came to Japan, because we moved to Japan for a couple of years. But that's the first time I ever noticed Bob being interested in fish. And then Brenda, go ahead.
I know that when he lived in Japan, he was very interested in fish and wanted to learn more. But when we got back to the States, about 1968, he started really wanting to learn more. And his first jobs were in aquarium stores. His first one was down in Old Town. Oh, go ahead, Donna.
The polka dot at the quad and at the Claremont Quad, not the square, but it's called the polka dot, and it was an aquarium store. And then he did work at the Old Town. Oh, with the guy who was in the Tropical Fish Society. I think his name's Charlie.
Yes. He worked in Old Town before he worked in Claremont, Donna.
Oh, okay. Charlie Pratt. Yes. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. When we were kids, Bob in his room, Brenda, how old was it in Claremont?
Bob was 17.
So his bedroom,
18.
He had the smallest room in the house, and every, wall every wall, even with the window in the closet, had cinder blocks and wood, and it was all aquariums. And then he had a thing in the center of the room, and he slept on a mattress on the floor, twin mattress. And it's one of his favorite fish at the time. He had a beautiful arowana, and I thought it was kind of comical because he said if it, it could live on the land for a little while, and it eats can eat live animals. Oh man, I don't think I'd want to be sleeping on the floor with with that type of fish. So he was real proud of that. Real proud of it. The Del Mar Fair, Brenda, remember going to these?
Yeah. Bob always won aquarium ribbons at the Del Mar Fair when they
because they had fish shows
every year.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. And then our mother, Brenda, and I would play at the Balboa Park at the playground when Bob had his meetings at the Casa de Prado 101.
Yeah.
And Bob, just as he got older, there was a big gap between Bob and I getting back together as knowing each other well. Bob started, Aquatic Life Services. He had a friend, Mike Stemplewski. He and Bob started Aquatic Life Services when he was 13. I guess it was junior high. And they would walk around the neighborhood, knocking on doors, asking if anyone wanted an aquarium installed, or if they could clean their tanks, or help with their pond issues. And that's how Bob and Mike started Aquatic Life Services. And then from there, Bob went into wet pets because we had a lot of aquariums in the store. So Bob decided he needed to, open up an aquarium store. And it was Wet Pets was the first all-acrylic aquarium store in San Diego to open. And sometimes people would come in the store, because I worked there, and they thought it was a porn shop because it was Wet Pets, and they, people would just think it was nasty.
Donna! I never even thought of that.
No, I didn't either. Why do you think I thought people coming going, with disappointment on their face, and it's like, this is like a porn store, porn shop, and it's like, no. Brenda, do you have anything to add? Okay.
So, how did he go from freshwater to marine? And scuba diving?
That's a very good question, because I think I don't know if you guys met. He has 2 other friends. They're in the running club, and they've known each other for a bunch of decades. And they started. They're all interested in they all own property, and they all scuba dove. And I'm not sure what got Bob interested in underwater photography. But I think just by starting to scuba dive and, see what's going on. Oh, also through having wet pets, we'd drive up to LA and hand pick our fish out instead of having them shipped to us. Bob ordered a bunch of fish from the Indian Ocean, and a lot of them, the ones we got from Indian Ocean, would pass away very quickly. And Bob had found out the way they catch their fish is by throwing like a dynamite in the water and like stunning the fish or poisoning the waters to slow them down. And that's why. So Bob really got big into wanting to change that to catch it without drugs or violence.
What would Bob's message be for MACNA and MASNA and the Marine community? What would he like them to remember about him and his mission and his life's work?
Bob was always kind of a humbling man. I know his mission was to learn something new every day and make the world a better place. I try to make the world a better place every day. Education was big for Bob.
Very big.
Yeah, and I think he would just like to see people being kinder to the earth and to each other. I know the pet fish business has dwindled a lot, but just trying to get people involved. Like I've told you and a bunch of other people that have been around the house when you and Jason and the other people come over and meetings I've been to, I've never seen such a great band of awesome people work together and really care for each other. So I know Bob would like to see the industry grow again.
Hi everyone. We're here to talk about Bob Fenner, one of my closest friends. There was no such thing as an inner circle with Bob, because if you met him just once, you were instantly in that circle. He was like your best friend. I can remember many times he would come and ask me to dive, and he would have an entourage with him to go on these dives. Bob was just one of those people who loved everyone and wanted to be with everyone always. He lived his life with many friends and many loves, but few regrets. We love Bob and we miss you.
Hey everybody, James Father E here, and what can you say about Bob when you're trying to keep it brief? Bob and I met about 20 years ago now, and at that time really all I knew was that he wrote a lot for the hobby. But when we did finally meet and got to talking, we really hit it off immediately. Bob and I were both Army vets, we were both teachers, me at the time and him in the past. We were both marine aquarium hobbyists. We had run aquarium maintenance businesses. Both of us loved to travel. We were both divers. We liked to take pictures. And my writing career was just getting started. And of course, he'd been doing it for years. So, no surprise. Bob quickly became a role model of sorts, and he was something of a big brother, and he was definitely a mentor. And despite knowing what seemed like a million people and being a really active guy, he always made time to give me some advice about whatever I might ask him about. And the guy was just never too busy to help out however he could. Above all else, though, Bob was my friend. And Bob was a good friend. And the guy looked out for people. And, of course, he looked out for me, too. And when it comes down to it, I was damn lucky to have known that guy. Bob very literally changed my life for the better. Anyway, I miss Bob, and I'll continue to miss him, as I'm sure many of you do, and really that's enough for me. My heartfelt condolences go out to his family and to all of his friends around the world. I'm out.
I don't remember exactly. It's been years ago, whether it was at a local meeting like Tropical Fish Society or even at his store, Wet Pets, years ago. Um, Honestly, I don't remember, but I think it was probably at a local aquarium club meeting. He's just so friendly and made me feel welcome and like I was his longtime friend. And he just made everybody feel that way. Whenever he was in the room, it just like cheered everybody up and he made everybody feel welcome. And I think that's what I remember most. The best story I have about Bob was I was traveling to MACNA in 2006 to give a talk. My father came with me so he could visit his sister who wasn't doing well in Houston. So I take my dad with me and we get in our seats in the plane. And then Bob starts walking down the aisle. And of course, he was a speaker at that MACNA too. And as he's getting ready to sit down, I go, "Hey, Bob." And he turns back and I go, "Hey, how you doing?" He says hi and everything. And I said, "This is my dad." We were just like 2 rows away. And he goes, "Hi, Mr. Nosratpour. Very nice to meet you." And I was just impressed because nobody pronounces my last name correctly the first time, the second time, third, the 10th time even. So to and it made sense to me later because he knows the scientific names of like thousands of species of fishes and invertebrates. So it made sense, but it was really cool that it impressed both me and my dad. And one of the things I always appreciated about Bob was that friendly smile, that hug, or just the warmth that he always had. And if I would be at a club meeting, or even if it was at a MACNA thing, wherever it was, he would always point. He would always mention my name. If some of the work I did at the aquarium was close to the topic he was talking about, he was, "Oh, by the way, Fernando's here, and he did this, this, and this." He always like brought me up, and that meant so much to me, and I missed that about him. And that really touched me deeply when he did those kinds of when he mentioned my name like that.
Hula Bob. Wow, I sort of at a loss for words, but you meant so much to us and Walt, and I met you 25 years ago when you first came to Fiji with a suitcase full of tequila. My greatest memories of you are on diving on the Niawai. Walt ditched us, and you were my dive buddy, and you stayed with me, and we looked at things and taught me so much about photography. You meant so much to everybody and so much to the world with your wealth of knowledge and the kindness in your heart. You had such kindness and love and compassion for everyone. See you on the other side. Bye.
How did I know Bob? Well, at the earliest, I was an employee at Presidio Nursery and Aquaria on Linda Vista Road. And Bob was an employee at, I can't remember the name of the tropical fish store, but it was about 2 blocks away. He was an employee, and he was a very knowledgeable employee. However, I was, I think, a little more knowledgeable because at the time I was taking college classes. But he was only about a year behind me, and when he got into college, we both signed up for ichthyology in the same class, and he got better grades than I did, so I'd have to say he was probably smarter than me at the time. And then he went on to do greater things, write books and go to meetings all around the world. And at one time he worked for Herbert Axelrod, and he knew all the big names, all the other authors, and I didn't know a single one. But anyway, we both got out of essentially the tropical fish industry, and he was starting to he was going all around the world doing scuba diving on coral reefs, and I was just working in pet stores and starting my own businesses and not really getting anywhere. But I remember he wrote a book that I read a review of in one of my magazines, and they said that if you're going to buy just one book on saltwater aquariums, buy his book. And I thought that was a pretty good reference to him. I don't recall which magazine that was in, but it said he was really great. And of course I already knew that, but then I didn't see or hear from him again until I was a member of the Fish Society, and he came into one of the meetings, and he had been an off and on member, I think, pretty much the whole time, just not going to the meetings. And I was kind of shocked to see him there, and we talked for a while, and every time he came in after that, I would say hi to him. I guess I've known him, I took ichthyology that would have been about 1970, I guess. So that was when we took that class together, and I had known him since, well, we were both employed by neighboring tropical fish stores. That would have been about 1967, something like that. Every time I saw him, we'd laugh and joke, talk about Dr. Chen's class.
What do you think Bob's message would be for fish keepers? We know that he's gone now, but if he had the chance to, what would he share? What would his message be that you think he would share?
Don't let the fire die. Keep studying. Keep reading books and magazines about them. He'd probably recommend everybody keep changing their water. He and I agreed on just about everything.
Some good things.
We went diving last year, and the first day we went into the ocean, I wear a prescription mask because I wear glasses. Can't see otherwise. And when you come up, I take off the glasses, I put them somewhere safe. I'm blind now as I get in the water. Once I'm in the water, I put on the mask to see. Yeah. I'm in the water, I'm about to put my head down, and I see a red boat. So that's my landmark. So I can figure out how to get back out where we were, because I'm a blindo. We go diving, we're in the ocean, it's great. We see corals, we have a good time. And then we head back, or I head back. And Bob had told me, no matter what happens, I know where you are at all times. Like, okay. So even if I didn't see him, he knew where I was, so I wasn't worried about my dive buddy, right? And I stuck my head up, and there was the boat, so I started swimming toward the boat. Finally, I'm swimming a long time because I'm trying to get back to the dock, which is near this boat. And Bob, I guess at one point, he sticks his head above water and finds me, and he's basically yelling, and I've got my face in the water with my mask and a snorkel because I'm not wasting air. And I keep hearing something like, mate, and I stick my head up, and Bob's like way behind me. He goes, where are you going? And I yell back, to the red boat. He goes, you're going the wrong way. We had to swim back, the other direction, because that's where the dock was that I never saw because I'm blind. Okay, so that was day one. On the last day, we go into the ocean, and again, he vanishes, and I had a problem with my ear on my last dive. I mean, I was down, and it hurt so bad. I said, let me go up and release the pressure. And I stayed at the safety stop level for 12, 15 minutes, not the 3-minute wait, and I'm circling. And all I see under me is the reef, and there's no Bob. There's no his camera. There's nothing. And I'm just like looking and looking and looking. I've got my lights on my camera so he can spot me maybe. And if he happens to look up, no idea where he is. And I'm like, well, I can't go down. My ear's hurting. I'm going back to shore. And I found all my landmarks and got back to shore. And I'm up there. I took all my gear off and I'm waiting. And I never see Bob. It's probably 20 minutes more. And then finally, John and Misty show up and and I help them come onto the shore. And then finally, Like another 15 minutes, Bob shows up and he's having a hard time getting out because of the way the rocky shore was. And so one person grabs his camera, one person grabs his arm. We're lifting him up to help him. He said, "I can't believe this, but I went the wrong way." So he swam way the hell down in the middle of nowhere. And I was like, "You went to the red boat?" And he's like, "I did." And he was so far, they had to come twice as much back to get to us. It was really funny. He was so fun. And, he'd just give me a hard time about stuff, but he was always super nice when he did it. So
I don't think there's a person outside of my family who's had as big of a influence in the trajectory of my life as Bob Fenner has. And without him, my life would not be as rich or as full, because through him, Craig and I met, and we had this little guy, and you don't want to sit. Okay, you can go, buddy. And our lives would not be as full. And I want to thank you, Bob, and you're missed, and ahui ho, aloha.